Go ahead, Amika J, giving us soundtrack.
Yes. Yes. Hi, sister. How you
We,
doing?
I'm good. We're back. I'm so glad to be back with you.
I really, really enjoy these podcast episodes. I don't know
I
if y'all
re-
are, but I'm loving them.
It is full of joy for us.
Yeah,
So this is good for me.
it
Hmm.
is. So, welcome y'all to another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. This is episode 13. We are inching on up into these double digits, and
We
I love
doing it.
we are doing it. So, if this is your first time tuning in, we're Real Women, Real Talk. My name is Shavon Carter. I am one of your hosts, and I am joined by my lovely sister, who is.
My name is Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women and co-host and happy to be here.
Yeah. And I am one of the facilitators for Real Women, and we are a nonprofit organization that exists to create safe spaces for women to do real personal development work on themselves. And so this podcast is just an extension of our closed private sister circles that we host both virtually and in person. So we
Mhm.
just wanted to give you a little snippet for what you can into what you can expect when we have these sister circles, which we just had one that we're looking forward to talking about today.
Mhm.
So before we jump into the deep parts of the conversation, we're gonna start off a little light. So
Mhm.
sister, let's just start off first asking how you doing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I've been running from these bugs that are running around, these little viral bugs, and it caught me a little bit. It caught me a little bit. Just, caught me just a little bit. It was like, hey, I'm running up on you. But I know I know what to do. So I put all my stuff in place. I got elderberry syrup and some Dayquil and I love popping halls and that kind of thing. So I'm doing a lot better. I took the rest that I needed, which is most important. Been
Mhm.
drinking a lot of liquids, so I'm doing good. I'm grateful today.
Okay, wonderful.
How are you?
So I'm doing good too. It's been a relaxing day. At the time of this recording, it's a little dreary outside. It's raining,
Mhm.
cloudy, but I'm still doing good. I feel good on the inside. I cooked today. I watched football. So yeah, it was a really good day today.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I've been very intentional about preparing my meals for the
Mm-hmm.
week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've shared on here yet. So,
Uh-oh.
but no, there's been, Thanksgiving has come and gone,
Mhm.
and you did all of your cooking,
Right, a lot of
and I think I contributed just a itty bitty bit to the meal at our house.
uh
But and we spent some time together that weekend.
hmm
So after that weekend, I decided to stop eating meat.
hmm
And again, with some of the fasts that I've talked about on this podcast, my social media fast,
hmm
and I mentioned I haven't really embarked on the financial fast yet. So
Okay.
I'll talk about that when I actually do it. But
hmm
what I decided was to just day by day listen to my body, and
hmm
whatever I need, I do. And I haven't had meat for a while. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I've been intentional about preparing my meals. And they have been, beans and veggies and fruit and salads and stuff. So, yeah, so I did a little bit of that this weekend too.
That's amazing. So can you tell the difference in your body, like with eliminating meat? What does it feel like?
I really can. There's just a less heaviness in my body. Can I
Mm,
also say find a nice way to say I eliminate better
okay. Yep.
um, and more, right?
hmm
I eliminate
hmm
more and I eliminate better.
hmm
And then I think there's a bit of cleansing happening because TMI, but I'm a really gaseous person right now.
Yep. hmm
And so I think that all of that is contributed to me kind of just flushing my system out. So I feel all of those things happening. Um,
hmm
Yeah, and you know what? I think some of this sniffles too, because I've been trying to be really careful about being in people's company, but they
Mhm.
say some of your detox ends up showing up like that, like flu-like symptoms.
Mm.
That is a thing because I've done this before. So
Mm.
I'm so glad you said something because that might be a little bit of what's going on with me because
Got
I
you.
feel good.
Yeah.
I've just had to deal with some of the sniffles and stuff that happen in the winter time. So,
Yeah, it sounds like your body is just adjusting to, the new way of being in
mhm.
season.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
I'm working through all of that and it's getting real comfortable for me. So I'm pretty certain I'm gonna go into the new year with it, but I'm not shooting on myself. So
Mhm,
I'm
yep,
just allowing myself to eat what feels right for my body.
yep, and
Mhm.
that's it. That's all it's about, really,
Mhm.
ease and flow. What Dr. Vicky Johnson says all the time, ease,
Mhm.
flow. If that's where your body is feeling and flowing, then that's where you go.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Mhm.
We make
Mm.
stuff hard, but that's what
I
it is.
know, don't we got Lee?
That's what it is.
Child. Uh-uh.
So I'm doing good too.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So, in this first segment, it's our real talk segment, and we just, catch up like we just did, talking about how we're doing, what's been going on with us. And I have a question that I want to ask about, which was sparked during the conversation that we had recently. I don't know where we were because we've been a lot of places together recently,
Mhm.
but a question that came up about places we've previously worked. So my question for you, sister, is have you ever been fired from a job?
Hmm. Telling my business. Okay, I got it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
cool. This is real women, real talk. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay. So, and what's funny about that is, because I had to prep a little bit. I knew you were going to ask me this, and my
Mhm.
first reaction was, "Oh no, not me,
Who, me?
no me, fine." Because there's this perfectionist type A thing that goes on
Mhm.
that either, of course not, or even if that is true, I don't want to talk about it or tell
Yeah.
about it, right? Um, and so I got over that. And then I remembered, so I worked for a college and they went through so many reorgs
Mm.
that one of the reorgs allowed me to go from working in person to remote,
Okay.
which allowed me to start homeschooling my son,
Mhm.
which was a blessing because literally a real women's circle
Mhm.
happened where I put out in the circle. This is how powerful our circles are. I put out
Right.
in the circle that I wanted to homeschool, didn't know
Mhm.
how it was going to happen. And a month later, they transitioned and reorged to the point where I was able to work from
Mm.
in person to online remote,
Uh-huh.
and it allowed me to homeschool.
Mhm.
So that was one transition. But once I did that for a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, they did another reorg, and and I thought that I was going to get offered something in lieu of another major reorg at my level happening, and I just didn't. I got didn't get offered. I was like, well, let me see what they're gonna do. But because it was everybody at this level,
Right.
and I was like, they valued me before. They gonna do it again and show me what they didn't. So they said, we're gonna reorg all of this and you too. so so I ended up getting a severance package. But yeah, so I have at least, and it's just that once, but it was major enough. The severance package helped,
Mhm.
but it was major enough where I don't know that I've ever talked about it before now, just because of
Mm.
pride. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. I don't think I knew that. about that experience. That's so
Mhm.
reorg you. We're gonna reorg you right on over here.
Ah,
Give
we
you a
going
nice
you over there.
right, a nice parting gift for your
Mhm.
trouble. Um, so this is a fun fact about me that I'm sure a lot of people don't know about because I haven't really publicized it too much. But I
Okay.
have been fired from a job. I was about 18 or 19,
Okay.
and it was during the summer. No, it was during a break. I can't remember if it was the summertime or if it was during the Christmas time frame, but I know it was during a break from school,
Mhm.
and I was working at Toys R Us, and I was a cashier. And I think I know I had worked two different times at this
Mhm.
company, but I can't remember if this had to be the second time. But anywho, so I was working with them, and it was a busy time of year. So I believe it was Christmas because it was a busy time of year.
Mhm.
And so I'm, ringing up customers, and one of my relatives comes through my line.
Mm.
So they had already gone through another line, got their stuff, gone out the door, but then they came back through my line and they
Mhm.
wanted me to slide some stuff through without ringing it up.
Family. You doing the most.
So
Hook
being
us
my
up.
naive self, wanting to help out this family member, thinking that, I'm not thinking at this point, honestly. So I did what they wanted me to do. They were older. I looked up to them, surely it won't be an issue. So I scanned some things, didn't scan other things, and packaged everything up. He paid for some of the items and he was heading out the door. Well, little did I know that the people, I forgot what you call them, damage control or whatever you call the people who
Mhm.
are watching to make sure that those kind of things aren't happening. They were right there by my register. I did not know. So when I rung him up and he was walking to the door, the manager came and turned my light off and was like, "You need to go to the back." They stopped him from going out of the door and they took me to the back. So basically they told me they saw what I did. I was going to get in trouble. They called the police. I was going to get arrested. The
Wow.
police it was juicy, right?
Whole scene.
A whole thing.
Jeez.
They took me to the back, and the manager was just talking to me crazy. I'm crying because I had never done anything like this before. And, I think I called my mom. I'm sure I did. I called my mom to let her know. So the police got there. I was in the back. They handcuffed me, walked
No.
me through the store, a busy store during Christmas season. So, everybody's buying stuff for their kids.
Oh.
It was terrible. Walked me through the store to the police car, sat me in the car with the handcuffs in front of the store. So by that time, my mom, my stepfather, and my stepfather's best friend, who was a correctional officer at the time, thank God,
Yeah.
came and talked to the police officer.
Wow.
So because he was a correctional officer, they had a conversation. They ended up, letting me go, but coming to my house later that evening to fingerprint me. So I didn't have to get booked downtown. I got booked at home. But it was, still on my record. I had to get an attorney and get, all the records sealed, but it was a petty theft misdemeanor charge.
Wow.
So I got
Wow.
fired and I got arrested.
I was gonna say that is a whole lot more than that. And now, you know
Mhm,
what's so funny? I'm telling you, there are blocks that I choose. I choose blocks. I choose
mhm.
those mental blocks
Yeah.
because I remember our conversation now. And I don't know why I thought more immediately, but when you said the 18 or 19, I was
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I did. And when I was my first retail job, I got fired from that perfectionist thing will make you lose your
I'm
head. So
telling you.
I don't know why you mentioned this and why, I don't know if there's an end to this, but I
Uh-huh.
have to correct it and say, God dang it, I've been fired twice
Yeah.
because
Jeez.
I don't know. My register, I was at a real retail store. I
Mhm.
can't even remember the name of it now. It doesn't exist now, but I was working at a retail store, and I was probably like 17, 18. I don't know. I was still in high school, I think. But anyway, the register kept coming up short. It was like 2 or 3 times that the register come up short. And they would just check in with me, like, what happened? $5 here, $7 here. And one time it was $20. And they was like,
Oh,
ma'am. And I'm telling you, I love to read. I
yeah.
don't necessarily love math, so I'm guessing that I just wasn't mathing the math right. But I really honestly was not trying to steal from the store. I just was giving somebody too much money. At some point, somebody left like, I'm not gonna tell her that I'm
Oh,
kidding, that she overpaid me on my change. So yeah, I've been fired twice. Look at that. Look at God.
look at that.
God will
Just
humble you.
come on, right.
So thank you for that refresher.
Yes, you're welcome. So it was a humbling experience. Nevertheless, I have never done anything like that ever again because that scared me straight for sure. And a lot of red tape I had to go through. Thankfully, it didn't prevent me from getting a good job and everything. So, but yeah,
Did your
that
family member apologize or?
probably so because my mom was really upset. Yeah, so I'm sure they did because she's
Oh, that's
not happy. Yeah.
not
Yeah,
good.
you know she's scary. That's what my mama said. You know she's scary. Why would you have her do that? Oh, man.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is funny. That's a real talk for you right there. If anybody else been fired, please make us feel better.
I'm
We're not
telling you,
by
let us know. Leave a comment, send an email,
ourselves.
all that good stuff to info@realwomenrock.org, or you can leave a
Mhm.
comment on YouTube under this episode. So, yeah, we would love
That's
to hear your
hilarious.
stories.
Mm.
All right. So, are you ready, sisters, to go into a deep dive
Oh,
conversation?
we ready to go swimming? Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Mhm. Get on in that water. Um,
Mhm.
all right. So, by the time this episode airs, it will be after Christmas and leading up into the new year.
Mhm.
So, what I wanted to talk about was just reflecting on 2023.
Mhm.
And we just recently had a virtual circle for Real Women, and that was the topic: Real Women Reflect.
It was so
So
good.
it was so good, led by
Mhm.
Nefertaria McBride and Rhonda Ragsdale, our facilitators for the Real Women DC Sister Circle.
Mhm.
So such a great conversation that Neff led us through, and it just really got us to talking and reflecting. So I wanted to bring some of that conversation to our episode today. So,
Mhm.
what I would like to know as you think about 2023, what words come to mind that describe this year for you?
Yeah. So because we have done this recently for the Sister Circle, I have two that immediately come to mind for me, really open to if anything else comes to mind. But the first two words, the first one I'll say is introspective, because
Mm,
I've intentionally used this entire year to focus on me, and to kind of go inward, to think through some things, both personally and professionally. And so it's been very inward focused.
mm,
I've done traveling, but minimally it's been with my sister girls whom I love, a couple of times with my family, but I've done minimal travel and just being out here. I've
mm,
really focused on me. So introspective is the first word that comes to mind. And then the second one, when I said it in the circle, it can immediately be seen as negative, but I use the word selfish.
mhm,
And it has been a selfish year for me. And there are a lot of ways I could approach it. One of them is I've just focused on me. So I have focused on self. I've been
mhm,
selfish, very, not negatively or positively charged at all. Just by definition, I have focused on me. I think what I would consider negative, just something that I would use as a growth opportunity, is I have indulged in ways that cause me to be a little less disciplined. So,
Mm,
in order to self soothe, as I have been reflecting on my life and doing some introspection, it feels better to soothe myself with comfort foods,
okay.
or or junk food, or so yeah, I've been focused inward, and then when it didn't make me feel good, I'm like, where that chocolate at?
Let me get some of that
Where
chocolate.
them chips at? So so it has been about, about me, and I've sort of fed into some of that, wherein I just believe, I don't have to deprive myself of all things, but there's balance and there's
Mhm,
discipline and all those things. So
mhm,
so that's one way in which it's a growth opportunity as it relates to being selfish, but all the other ways in which selfish could be a good thing,
mhm,
I've really just focused inward and on me this year. So that's how
mhm.
I would describe it.
Okay, I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. What
And I
about you?
love that you said selfish can have for some a negative connotation, but it doesn't have to. It's really about how you define it. So I really
Mhm.
appreciate that you saw it in a way that empowers you and it served you.
Yeah. I tried to
Mhm.
think of another word for it, but I don't have to. That's
Yeah,
what it was. I
I
was
love it.
selfish. I
Mhm.
and I didn't not give to others and not
Right.
be who I needed to be for other people, but
Mhm.
I was in and about and focused on me. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Love
Mhm. What about you?
Um, so for me, so when we talked about this in the circle, I used the word fun.
Mm,
Um, and that is definitely how this year has been for me. A lot of concerts that we've talked about in previous episodes, a lot of traveling internationally within the United States, just a lot of fun, like dancing, good music, all that stuff. And as I sit here thinking now, I would also use the word evolving. Like,
ooh.
I feel like this year has been an evolution for me also. When I look at where I've landed, where I am today, some evolving definitely took place for me to be here.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's so much to unpack, and I'll probably save it for another episode. But just to look at the state that I was in, as far as just getting out of a relationship at the beginning of the year, and just going through healing from that relationship, and then getting involved, reconnecting with someone that I had been in a relationship before, and we just tried to a do-over, and just going through that process and having a really good time, and also ending the year just with a conversation with him, and just the desire to live as a free spirit, and just be me, and so meaning that we wouldn't be coupled in a relationship in that way. So it was definitely an evolution. A lot happened throughout this year that allowed me to say, I want to be a free spirit, be free to be me. So, yeah, I'm proud of myself, and I can see my growth for sure.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, um, the word you used
Mhm.
is especially significant to me right now, because I have just started this weekend watching, it's on Netflix, and it's called The Life on Our Planet,
Mhm.
or The Life of Our Planet.
Mhm.
It's narrated by Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
You know, all of the good ones are. But I love the documentaries that talk about nature and animals, and it's
Mhm.
just really instructive for me. And those are probably the analogies that mean the most to me,
Mhm.
when they're connected to nature. I can connect them to my life, as lessons in a really meaningful way. And so this particular documentary literally talks about the evolution of our planet. So,
Mhm.
what happened with the weather and plants and animals, and it takes forever to get. It starts at like 600 million years ago, 400 million years ago, 200 million years ago, and we still haven't finished it, but we're at like 2 million years ago right now. Like it
Mhm.
just continues. It's so interesting.
Wow.
Um, Directed by Steven Spielberg.
Hmm.
So it's so well done. But
Okay.
I said that to say I have been amazed all weekend by the evolution of life,
Mhm.
just how miraculous life is. I feel tears.
Yeah.
How miraculous life is, and how God gives us these new opportunities literally every time we breathe. Like
Mhm.
we have a whole ecosystem happening inside of us,
Mm, mm, mm.
that systems are functioning to make sure we just inhale and exhale, and that
Mhm.
blood pumps out from our heart and goes back, and breath goes in our lungs and comes out. And when we are walking or talking or doing things simultaneously, to have all of that happening all at once, like just the miraculous nature of life in
Mm.
general, it
Mhm.
is it is like unexplainable to me to be able to there's got to be a God bigger than us that kind of
Absolutely.
puts
Yeah.
all of that in place,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then not just to have like one being that happens for, but
Mhm.
thousands of species and thousands of like different types of animals. And I mean, it's amazing to me. And then not only is there just a ton of them, and I'm back to where you started,
Mhm.
but in that one species, just with us, like the evolution of one species to say, if this element of life is too dangerous for me, or
Mhm.
if it's not helpful for me in my growth,
Mhm.
I learn from it in this moment.
Mhm.
And speaking of out in nature, I evolve to the point where I overcome it. So
Yeah.
that if 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 the weather's too cold, that species will grow fur and
Yeah.
be like, you ain't gonna kill us next winter. My
Exactly.
children gonna grow some fur,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Mhm.
so I that was a long way to go, but to watch your evolution, to say, this is where I am, this is where I've
Mhm.
started this year,
Mhm.
this is what works for me in this moment. Wait, whoa, nope, okay. This is not really working for me. Let's investigate, figure out what that is.
Mhm.
Okay, let's make some adjustments. Let's learn from that. Let's adjust. How does this feel? I am so freaking proud of your evolution. And it's such a lesson, to me, and those of us who know and love you, but also just those of us who are listening. I think it's just a lesson that we get to evolve, we get to
Yeah.
choose, we
Yeah.
get to grow. God gives us that ability innately, and
Mhm.
so why not function and exercise it? That was long, but did that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense, and that's one of the things that I will never apologize for.
Mm,
My desire is not to hurt people. My desire is not to, continue to have relationship experiences that hurt people. That is not my
yeah.
desire. And at the same time, I need to make sure that I'm being true with who I am and where I am. So
Mhm,
it is so okay to start out the year feeling and feeling with everything in my being that this is where I am and what I desire. And by the end of the year, to say, you know what? No, that's
mm,
not, because I am evolving, I am growing, I am changing. There were so many times that I have judged myself like, oh, you're doing it again, or you're doing this. And it's like, no, I'm on a journey. That's
mhm.
where I am and what I'm doing. And I'm just figuring me out along the way.
You know what it is? It's courage. It's
Yeah.
courage because some of us choose to not speak up.
Mhm.
and that could lead to deception or
Mhm.
dishonesty.
Yeah.
Some people know or feel like, there's something different or other out there for me, whatever that looks like, whether it's a
Mhm.
job or a person or a situation, and choose to stay in it in that moment
Mhm.
because they feel like they have no choice or they're not courageous enough to explore and take a
Mhm.
risk and figure out what those choices might look like. It's
Mhm.
more comfortable and less scary to stay in what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so kudos to you for, I mean,
Mhm.
so we when we when we air on the other side of the new year episode,
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear, kind of where that has you. So real women reflect. That circle
Mhm.
was so meaningful to me because not only were we asked to, what words come to mind and, how we look back on our year in general,
Mhm.
but Neff specifically slowed down to ask us questions in the moment
Yes.
about our joys and
Mhm.
our pains and our growth moments, our moments of frustration, and to sit in that moment with my sisters, even virtually, it was so meaningful for me,
Mhm.
to have to reflect on that and to choose, whether or not I wanted to share aloud, but to have the opportunity to share aloud the ways in which I've grown or felt frustration or learned or been proud of myself. It was such a bonding moment for me.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to experience.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
was. And if you follow Real Women Rock on social media, you'll see some of the questions that Neff asked. We posted those
Mhm.
recently, so you'll be able to see what those questions are. But just to give you a snippet of some of those questions, she asked, what are your core values? Like what are
Mhm.
my core values? What did I learn this year?
Mhm.
What are you looking forward to in the new year?
Mhm.
Who do you want to be in 2024?
Mhm.
That's just a snippet. Like there were, I think about 4 sides full of questions for us to really reflect. But I appreciated those, and I wrote those down specifically because it was just like, what is my answer to what are my core values? Have I
Mhm.
defined those for myself? And then
Yeah.
that will carry me into the new year. So I really enjoyed the conversation, and it sparked such deep discussion, like it always does, in our sister circle. So yeah, it was really great.
And she is the question queen, so we should have known
Yeah,
that
exactly.
some of
It
her questions were going to lead us there. It's so
is.
important to know who you are
Mhm.
because at your core, you will bring that or you will bring that clarity to wherever you are, a relationship, a business, a job. You will bring that clarity or lack thereof to
Mhm.
that situation.
Absolutely.
If you are
Absolutely.
not clear about who you are, that's why we do the work that we do, so you can get to know yourself very clearly.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
don't, know you, you will be foggy in any situation or scenario. So,
Mhm. That is the truth, honey. That is the truth.
mm,
So
mm,
So I hope that as you're listening to this episode, that you will be thinking about 2023 for you. Like, what was this year like for you? What lessons did you learn? How would you like to live differently and be different in 2024? So just and celebrate the wins, even if they're small wins, that you had this year. So I just hope that you will reflect on that and just give yourself grace, forgive yourself if there are things that you wish you wouldn't have done,
mhm,
and celebrate yourself for the things that you did do. So,
mhm.
yes, yes, yes. All
Good
right,
stuff.
good
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
Okay, so let's climb on out of the deep dive. That was some good conversation. And let's put myself in her shoes. Let's put ourselves in her shoes. So
Okay.
this is the first time we've done this and introduced these, but let me see. I got my thing in the way. Dating 101 card game. If you can see this, if you're watching, you can see this card deck. If you're listening, I'm holding up a deck of 101 conversation cards that myself and my good friend Reggie created.
Mm-hmm.
This was our very first deck. We have 4 decks now, but this is our very first deck.
You
And
said y'all created them, like you're the manufacturer of them?
we are the manufacturer. We
Well,
created the
look at God.
and all of that. So, and the purpose was to come up with some questions to help people spark conversations while they're on dates.
They are so fun. Oh,
Fun. It
mhm.
always sparks
Can I
something.
just say,
Yep.
before you jump into it,
Uh-huh.
I take them on every date night, on every family dinner. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just have them beside my bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I just take them with me because there'll be a perfect time to pull them out,
Yep.
ask a couple of questions. It's just
Uh-huh.
perfect. Mhm.
Yeah, and I love that. Thank you for that because when we were together during Thanksgiving weekend, we pulled them out at dinner and talked about it.
Mhm.
So it was so great, you know. So I love that you do that because it does
Yeah.
spark some really good conversation and you get to learn
Mhm.
about, you know, the people that you're with. So it's really
Yeah.
great. Okay, so this scenario stems from that, and I added some names just to, you know, do it in the way that we would normally do it. But this scenario is in the card deck. So Tasha and Tony go to a party that Tasha's friend invited them to.
Okay.
Tasha is having a great time at the party, but after 45 minutes, Tony is ready to leave.
Mhm.
How should Tasha handle this situation? Should she leave with Tony, tell him to go ahead and leave and she'll catch an Uber or do something else?
Mhm.
Putting yourself in Tasha's shoes, what would you do?
Okay, so putting myself in their shoes. First, Tasha's. I don't believe Tasha and Tony have been dating very long because you after you date for a little while, you learn to have these conversations beforehand
Uh-huh.
because you just don't get stuck like that. You get stuck like this one time, and then you
Mhm.
know, okay, let's figure it out. Because
Yeah.
you the leave early person, and I'm the I want to stay person, and we got to figure out a situation that'll work for both of us.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guessing that this is their first time this is happening for them, because if so, I'm gonna do it both ways. If I were
Mhm.
Tasha, and this was the first time it was happening, I would really want to get a feel for what does ready to leave mean. Does
Mm.
it just mean you are ready to leave and you are cool with whatever I choose to do?
Mhm.
Or your understanding of ready to leave is we are ready to leave? Because we came here together. So
Right.
why would we leave here together? So
Uh,
because I'm in relationship with this person, I would try because you didn't say married or just
right.
dating cards. So I'm just
Mhm.
gonna say we're dating.
Yep.
I'm getting a feel. So I'm trying to be sensitive this first go round that this is happening to your feelings and get a feel for where you are. So we would
Mhm.
probably pull all over to the side and have a conversation just to make sure I'm clear about where you are. So are you okay with me staying? Because if so, this is my girl. I can get a ride home. Are you okay with that? And just kind of reading the saids and the unsaids about the response.
Mhm.
Um, I know we just got off this conversation about kind of just really honoring your feelings. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to be honest. I tend to, especially first go round like this, when there hasn't been a prior conversation, I
Mhm.
tend to appeal to the other person's feelings.
Okay.
And so if I gathered that he wanted us to leave this first time, I would probably leave. I'll be
Got.
honest with you. Not
Okay.
that I want to, because I already
Mhm.
see, the scenario said I wanted to stay, but I
Mhm.
would probably leave because I didn't anticipate this and plan for it at the beginning.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'd be going to my girl and be like, girl, We leaving.
You ready to go,
We
girl?
ready to go. But in a normal scenario, we would have had this conversation. So,
Yeah.
do we need to drive 2 cars? What time do about how long do you want to stay? You want to,
Mhm,
if it gets longer, what's the plan? Just
mhm,
so that I can go ahead and be prepared to do what I want to do in that scenario. So that's
mhm.
me. That's me.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So me,
Mhm.
I would want to know what's going on. Like, did something happen that
Mhm.
he is ready to go? Is he not feeling the music? Is he not feeling the people?
Mhm.
So I would want to have that conversation with him, and I'm staying at the party. So
I know you are. I know you are.
so either you gonna drive, you gonna get an Uber, or I'm gonna get an Uber. But either
Right.
way, I ain't going with you. I'm having a good time. These my friends,
Mhm.
and you cramping our style right now. So I would try to find out what's going on, and I would leave. I mean, let you go, and then I
Mhm.
later, and we can talk about it, and then we'll talk about how we're going to handle this in the future. Because yeah,
I
I'm
love the difference here.
I'm not
It's like we will talk about it how we're gonna handle it in the future. For
yeah.
now,
Mhm.
which one of us getting the Uber?
Exactly. 'Cause I'm not going with you. I'm not ready to leave. I don't want
Right, right,
to.
right.
That's you. I'm not uncomfortable. So
Mhm.
you're going. I'll talk to you
Mhm.
later.
I
But
love
I
it.
want to make sure that you're okay. But
Right.
don't try to get me to leave with you. You know I'm having a good time now. You know I'm
So
having
Shavon, let's just go down that road. I
yeah.
want to make sure you said I want to make sure you're okay. Well,
Uh-huh.
I'm not okay because
Mhm.
something happened, and as a
Right.
result, I'm not okay. So
Mhm.
I'm ready to leave. I thought you would leave with me when I was ready to go.
Wow. So can we talk about like why you're not okay? How can I help in this moment to make sure you're good? I'm not ready to go. These are my friends. Really want to celebrate her for her birthday. And I want to honor you at the same time. And so my desire, my heart's desire would be to stay, but I just want to, have this conversation. Is there something that you need to say to make sure you're good? But I don't desire to go with
Well,
you.
I'd like to talk about it while we're gone because I don't want to talk about it in front of all of these people.
Mm,
It's looking a little awkward for me to just be, sitting here. Like, I don't want us to end up like arguing or anything. I'd rather just tell you later that I'm just not as comfortable as I thought I would be, and I thought we would come together and leave together.
wow. Yeah, I hear you. And I would love to have this conversation when I get back. So I won't be long. Um Probably be another hour or so. And so that we can get into it. Because
Bet. I see you when you get.
okay.
That's all I see. What else you gonna say?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would try to be so compassionate in the moment.
You
And
were. You were.
yeah.
You were. I like it.
And at the same time, I'm not going. No.
Yeah. But you know what that says? I think it goes back to even maybe our reflections on the year and just your evolution because um there's something instructive there. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lose it. I want to make sure I get it in this moment
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just trying to make sure I'm investigating to see, is my first go round just accommodating the
Mm,
other person,
mm-hmm.
um or is it working out? Because here's what it is. I've
Okay.
always thought about the dynamics of a relationship
Mm-hmm.
as this give and take, like
Mm-hmm.
constant give and take, constant give
Okay.
and take.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a relationship, I'm very prone to give
Mm-hmm.
in the hope and the expectation that either when it's time for me to take, because I very rarely ask for a whole bunch of taking, that
Mm-hmm.
when it's time for me to take, it would be given to me, or that it's freely given just as much as I give, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So to be the first one to kind of lay on the sword, or to be the first one to example what it looks like to be unselfish. I'm always the first one to want to do that. And what I hear you saying is, just by virtue of this scenario, and maybe even your reflection, is the example could be instead of laying on the sword, let me show you what it looks like to be your own first best advocate.
So I'll share something that I think that in order for a relationship to be healthy and productive, what you just described is probably the better approach.
Okay.
The give and take.
Mm-hmm.
The perspective I come from is the realization that I don't want to give. So, and if I give, it will be minimal because my ultimate desire is to give to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my focus and priority is not giving in great quantity to the other person.
Oh,
That's why my answer is what it is, and why, I have evolved to this place of relationships doesn't work for me. And I keep
this
coming
is so
around
good.
this mulberry bush, but I keep coming to the same conclusion. And so what I am understanding is I need to be single. Like that is the space that I thrive in. And so I just got to accept that that's my truth, because
This
when I
is
get
so
in these
good.
relationships, I'll give, but it ain't gonna be sacrificial. It'll be what I feel like giving at the time. So, and
This
that's
is,
not fair to the other person. So that's why I say what you're doing is healthy. Sounds like.
I'm swinging my legs under the seat because this is so good, because we have to know ourselves.
Yes.
Child, it's gonna swing. This gonna swing right into this. Gonna flow right into this spiritual nugget,
Let's get it. Yeah,
because
let's
we
go.
have to know ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know yourself, it will provide the clarity that you need
Mm-hmm.
for every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with either of our perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's why and how you can have no judgment in a real women's space,
Right.
because when you speak your truth, now you have the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is. Now
Yeah.
I get to choose what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Yeah.
I don't ever get the opportunity to speak my unfiltered truth,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know how to function. I can't make clear choices. And
Mm-hmm.
so to be able to evolve to this point where, I don't want to have to give like that. I want to focus on me.
Mm-hmm.
That provides a lot of clarity for you moving forward. I
Yeah.
love that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And a nugget that I would leave as it relates to that is, because, like I said, I have been in this little cycle of relationship 9-in-1, relationship 9-in-1. And I keep coming to the same conclusion. And so what I am resolving is, this is who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are in a space where it seems like you're just continuing to make the same choices, or you keep coming to the same conclusion about yourself, it may be time to just embrace whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And try not to beat yourself up for, like, oh, I can't never get it together. I can't never get it right. Maybe reframing it and be like, man, well, maybe there's a reason why this lesson keeps coming to me, so that I can really embrace and understand what these experiences are trying to say to me about me.
Yeah.
So that's what I would offer, because that's what I'm seeing. And so now it's like, okay, well, let me figure out how to get comfortable in this space. What do I need to do? How do I, thrive here? So that's my
Can I
heart.
can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
Because in addition to coming around and coming to a place of realizing that this is who you are, there's also nothing wrong with the journey of the round and around. So, because what I've and I as your sister, I get to watch you evolve. I know that there used to be a time when you would beat yourself up for the journey, right?
Yeah.
But this is sort of just appreciating the journey and the evolution in addition to where you happen to land in this moment. Because what I'm very clear about is that were you to feel a shift in your spirit again, you would honor that. I'm very
absolutely, and will
and will and would and do.
So would, honey, I be on here telling y'all something totally different, but it's just how I feel in the moment.
Yes, and so that's what I think the journey, we beat ourselves up about so many different things.
Yeah.
And so we will beat ourselves up about where we are, we'll beat ourselves up about the journey. And so just being okay with who you are, where you are, even what has happened, you cannot control. It is gone, it is there, it happened. We don't even have the next moment promised to us. So in this moment, I am just grateful for the recognition of being alive and here and having the opportunity to accept and give myself grace for where I am right now in my journey. Wherever that is. Like that is ultimate peace, to be okay with where I am right now. There's so many things that could be different, but I am right here, right now, living and breathing. When I thought I wouldn't make it to this point, I am here. And I accept that.
Yeah.
And I receive it as a gift.
Yeah. That's good. Yes. Yes.
Well, this took us a lot of places.
As a Real Women Sister Circle does, this is so real of how it happens.
That was a lot. It was good.
A lot that I didn't know I was going to be sharing, but honey, when it's
Me either, girl. Me either.
It's there. So. Right. Well, this has been another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. And as you can see, we are real women.
And real women talk. We really do. It's real talk.
Seriously.
Oh.
So, y'all, thank y'all. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank y'all. Bye.